Okay, hello. My name is Steve Siemers. I've been involved in California workers' compensation for almost 40 years. As an applicant's attorney, as a workers' compensation judge, as the chief judge for the Division of Workers' Comp under the Davis administration. For almost 18 years now, I've worked as a mediator, arbitrator, and workers' comp consultant in the field. Today, I'd like to talk to you for a minute about the importance of the PR-4. When a primary treating physician concludes that a patient has reached maximum medical improvement, the preparation of a PR-4 report is required. PR-4 is of great importance and value to the parties in a workers' comp claim when it addresses the issues that need to be addressed in that moment. Workers' comp addresses the harm to the patient and then characterizes the loss to the patient resulting from the harm. The first moment in a comp claim where the issues of harm and loss can be determined is when the primary treating physician finds the patient to be permanent and stationary. At that point, the parties can begin to see what the harm is and what the loss is resulting from the harm. And thus the parties are in a position to resolve the case. The PR-4 addresses those two critical elements, harm and loss. When we get a thorough PR-4, it can allow the parties to avoid the cost and delay associated with an otherwise unnecessary medical legal evaluation. It can avoid litigation, and most importantly, it shortens the length of the claim. The longer a claim is open, the more likely it is that the patient will get worse, the more likely the matter will be litigated, and the more likely the incurred cost of the claim will grow. Primary treating physician can provide very significant value by preparing a PR-4 that contains a thorough history, a complete medical, physical examination, the proper reporting for a credible impairment rating, and most importantly, a description of any impact on the patient's ability to perform activities of daily living. If we can obtain a PR-4 with that information, then it'll benefit the patient and the employer, who are typically eager to resolve their claim. And now with that report, they will be able to do so. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Alchemy with RateFast. I review all of your impairment ratings that come through the RateFast platform. I wanted to meet with you today and just talk about some of the things you can do that are simple in your history and physical exam that make your job and my job a little bit easier and also result in a more accurate and complete impairment rating. The first thing that everyone does is doing a history, and continue to do the histories as you have done, but do a couple of extra things if you can. The first thing is talk about the pain and where the pain originates in the body part that we're doing the rating on, but also talk about, particularly in the neck and low back claims, if the pain is radiating anywhere. So I want to know if it's radiating into the arms, into the legs, if it's going to the foot, or if it's going to the index finger. All those things are very, very helpful, and it helps clarify and make the reports much more accurate and detailed. The other thing I want to ask you to do is to talk about activities of daily living loss in the history. And you can talk about things such as the patient is limited with standing, walking, sitting, climbing, sleeping, etc. All of those things are extremely helpful. And if you can't do that, if you can at least ask the injured worker, are there some things you can't do around the house, many or all the things you can't do around the house that you'd like to do, the pain keeps you from doing? So also that really helps us narrow down and get more accurate with the impairment rating value that we get out of the report. As far as doing your exam, do the exam as you usually would. We want to know about inspection. We want to see if there's swelling or scars. We want you to palpate. We want to know if there's any guarding going on or any spasms that you feel. And then, of course, we want a good range of motion. So if you tell us range of motion on a lumbar flexion is 60 degrees, that's great. If you tell us range of motion on the spine is 50% of expected normal inflection, that works too. So Whatever you can do to give us some more detail on the motion loss, that's always very helpful. Again, it helps us get more details on the exam. When it comes to motor testing, I would like to know, particularly on the cervical and the low back, if there's particular nerve roots that are weak. And if you can't remember which nerve roots do which motors, just tell me which motor testing is weak. The quadriceps is weak, or the biceps is weak, or the deltoid is weak. That's extremely helpful when we're calculating muscle and motor loss. Next is sensory, same kind of thing. We want to know where they have decreased sensation. So is it on the outside of the upper arm, or in the thumb, or down in the bottom of the foot with decreased sensation? Again, very important for us to come up with an accurate report based on the most detailed anatomic description you can do. Reflexes are helpful. So if you're doing a case that's on a cervical spine or lumbar spine, doing the reflexes are helpful. Just let us know what reflexes you are testing, such as patellar or Achilles tendon or brachioradialis, something like that. And then as with any time you're doing a low back injury, including lower extremities, if you can remember, please put in if they're having any difficulty with walking. So gait is non-antalgic, they're walking with no problems, they're walking with some pain, those kind of things, very helpful. And I think with that will wrap up my section. Again, keep the reports coming. They're looking good. We can make them a little better. Please let me know if you have any questions. I can be reached at j.alchemy@rate-fast.com. Again, it's j.alchemy@rate-fast.com. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chris Hall, and I'm the General Business Service and Training Manager for RateFast. And what I wanted to do today is just to summarize what RateFast is, what the workflow will be, and what the follow-up should be like with the patient and for billing at Concentra. So how do you order a PR-4 report? Now, what is exactly the workflow? So you indicate that the patient's at MMI, and there's a simple one-page form that does two things: a section at the top for your staff to fill in the demographics for the patient, and at the bottom of the form is some summary check boxes for you to check off with your basic findings. And this should all take less than 30 seconds for you. Now, ideally, when a patient comes in and they have multiple injuries on a claim, you'll simply do each injury, rate them through RateFast as each injury becomes MMI. So for instance, if the shoulder is MMI now, do the rating. When the next injury on that claim is at MMI, do the rating at that time until they're complete, and the adjuster will combine everything in the end. Now, where can you find these forms? You can find them in one of two places. There's a hard copy in your office that your staff can copy for you, or you can go to Concentra PR4.com. There are several examples that you could print out on that website. And finally, when you do want all injuries rated on a single report, please fill out a single referral form for each of the injuries going on that report. That way we don't overlap ADLs or any findings with another injury, and everything is kept straight. So give that completed, that filled out form to your MA. They'll gather all the chart information. And by the way, that information is listed at the bottom of the form. And they will email directly to RateFast and get the whole process going. They can fax it as well, but email is preferred. So your staff at the same time should set up a 4-week visit, review visit with the patient, so you can review the final PR-4 report with them. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or text me anytime. My phone number here is on the screen, but I'm at 707-484-5778. And you can email me at c.hall, that's H-A-L-L, at rate-fast.com. And listen, we appreciate your business and your attention today, and we appreciate your trust in allowing RateFast to help you care for your patient. Thanks again.